So many people on YouTube are saying that the AI agency market is saturated. Meanwhile, others say that it's the biggest opportunity in decades. But nobody seems to be looking at the actual data. So in this video, we're gonna break down what saturation actually means, look at data behind AI adoption and AI agencies, so by the end of this video, we'll finally answer the question of if AI agencies are saturated, and if it's not, will it be saturated in the next few years? Now, the simplest way to define saturation, in my opinion, is very simple. It's when there's too many people offering a product or service relative to how many people are actually looking to buy this product or service. Now, the definition I just provided you is great for understanding what saturation is. However, it's not great for diagnosing whether or not, or determining whether or not a market is saturated. For that, we have the three signals of market saturation. The first of these signals is when the supply exceeds the demand, or in other words, there's too many people offering the service and not enough people looking to buy the service. The second signal or second criteria is a collapse of margins. This is essentially when people are reselling or selling the product or service for a price that is barely higher than what they are spending to run the product or service. And the third signal is a little bit objective, but it's essentially when client acquisition or finding new people to buy your product or service just becomes absurdly difficult. So if you're in this business, if you've been in this business for 2 years and you just can't seem to get any more clients and it seems impossible, that's a signal that the space you are in or the market is indeed saturated. Now, this exact thing happened between 2019 and 2021 with drop shipping. Everybody and their mom was talking about drop shipping on YouTube and social media, talking about how it was an excellent opportunity, and there was so much buzz behind it to the point where so many people started a drop shipping business, and as a result, the supply for drop shipped products went through the roof, and as a result, the supply began to be greater than the demand. And that's where commoditization happens. Essentially, what this means, it's a fancy word for multiple products being offered for the same price by different vendors. So literally, if there was 100 hot dog stands on the street selling the same type of hot dogs for the same price or a similar price, the product is commoditized. And as a result of that, as you would probably imagine, client acquisition was very difficult after that, and then just the vicious cycle continued and the market became saturated. It was not, and probably may not be, the best market to enter to start a business in. Now, here's where things get interesting. Just as many people, if not more, are talking about starting an AI agency and the opportunity of starting an AI agency on social media, just like they were back in 2019 about starting a dropshipping business. This is confirmed by data from Google Trends. The amount of people searching start AI agency, which is indicative of people interested in starting an AI agency, skyrocketed between 2025 and 2026. In other words, this graph indicates the supply of AI agency services or AI services. And as we can see, it absolutely skyrocketed, which might indicate a saturated market if it exceeds the demand. But the question is not how much the supply is. The question is if the supply exceeds the demand, and we can try and figure this out by looking at the demand data, and we do this through this exact graph. We can take a look at the demand of the artificial intelligence as a service, AI as a service. This is a fancy word for AI agencies, and we can see the market growth and the demand of this business model. And we can take a look and easily see here that this market is going to grow by 39% approximately every single year, and has a market valuation or a market size of almost $600 billion. In other words, that's a massive demand for this type of service. But what about the other two saturation signals? Margins and difficulty of acquiring clients. Well, there's not much objective data out there on the internet, but what we do know is that so many people seem to be selling these services for a high price and seem to be acquiring clients at a fair rate. Now, we don't have actual data, but what we do know is that someone from our community, Nicholas, made a ton of money from one deal. And we see this time and time again in our community, but also in other communities and people on the internet. It doesn't really seem that the margins are collapsing, and it does not seem that people are having difficulty acquiring clients. So then why are so many people saying that the AI agency market is saturated? Here's exactly why. Because they are confusing difficulty with saturation. So here's the pattern that I've noticed. There's so many people looking to start an AI automation agency because of the buzz and hype around it on social media. But when they finally start this agency, they realize that it's actually very difficult to start and it's challenging. And there's two ways you can respond to challenge when you start a business. The first way is you can just say, oh, the market is saturated. It's not my fault. It's the market's fault. And that seems to be happening quite a bit. The other way you can respond to challenge is to stay consistent and stay persistent through the challenge. And if you do that for long enough, you will experience growth in this market. It is very clear, because just take a look at this market growth today that's happening today. So is the AI agency market saturated? No, it's not. It's that simple. The demand is too high. There are too many businesses who haven't yet adopted AI but will be adopting AI in the next few years. The demand is so high, it's not saturated. If you wanted to start an AI agency, you can do so successfully. It is extremely possible. The market is not going to prevent you from doing that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.